show in store. Master by the man. Oh my Lord, Evangelist Tanya Dean. We have two great guests today this evening at 90.1 KPFT. You're listening to 90.1 KPFT. We have Miss Georgia Provost in the house, a historian and a legend in her own time, accompanied by, oh my Lord have mercy, Jerome Provost, running for District D. God bless them. Two great people I've been knowing a long time. Love their community, they love their people, and they're here to inform you of the things that they're involved in and how you can help, how you can become involved, and how they serve you. Okie dokie, let's get it going. Miss Provost, Brother Provost.
Well, thank you, Tippy. I'm just happy to be here. I'm always happy to come to Pacifica. You are the number one station because you give the information, true information that you can learn and take home with you. And it's not filtered, it's not full of stuff. You just give it to us like it is. And I'm just so happy to be here. And I'm just happy to be able to serve. You know, and I tell everybody, I am a true public servant. I am not a politician. I don't aspire to be a politician. I'm a business owner. And I just want to be able to see my people get something out of this city pie. Because we have been neglected for a long time. I'll give you an example. Sunnyside is older than Galleria. Look at my Sunnyside. Look at my Galleria. We got to do something about that. Economic development is what we need. And we need to be sure that exactly. My two things that I speak about all the time, they both start with an E. Economic development and education. That's what's on the table. That's what's on the menu. Anything else you want to talk about, I don't want to hear. Jerome?
The same thing. Everything's about economic development. So much is lacking in the greater portions of District D. It's not just that the city is not taking care of District D. A lot of the resources that are within the area are not being utilized properly. Give an example of we have a large number of payday loan and what's the other one they call it, check cashing places. Not many people are engaged in banking to establish a banking history, to establish credit. Most people don't have accounts in the community. They just get a check and go cash it. We are lacking in banks that actually serve those communities.
Well, do you think that they need to be re-educated about handling their money and how they should do with their money? Because these other people, who some people call predatorial, own their money. And the people don't know how to defend themselves against their practices.
Well, let me put it this way.
Okay.
In the United States of America, black folk across the country control $1.3 trillion in spending power.
Repeat that again.
Black folk across America, across the United States, control $1.3 trillion in spending power. That's more money than the nation of Sweden and possibly one other Scandinavian country combined. So we have financial power. We have financial resources. It's just that we're not utilizing it properly. And Dr. Claude Anderson, who runs the Harvest Institute, which is a black think tank, he's also one of the architects of original affirmative action legislation, stated that black folk, in addition to their spending power, black folk also tithe to the tune of $65 billion a year in America. Now, Houston is the fourth largest city. So if we're the fourth largest city, and we have one of the largest populations of African Americans in this area, in the United States, then of that $1.3 trillion and that $65 billion, we have a lot of money. It's just that we're not putting it to proper use. Give an example. With the hard-fought gains that our parents and grandparents went through during the civil rights era, now we are allowing those gains to be chipped away and pulled back because we're not utilizing our dollars, we're not utilizing our political power to preserve the institutions that got us forward. We're going backwards. We're no longer making forward progress.
Oh, I'm sorry for the pause, y'all. golly, because I'm thinking about solutions. He's telling us what we're being confronted with, and as I'm listening to him, I'm thinking, what can we do to turn it around? What can we do to go the other way? What do we have to do to let our people know how they can change their practices and the things that they have been doing so that it would be more to their favor than not?
Well, you know, Thibodeau, when I ran the first time, the ministers asked me what could they do about payday loans. I said, well, you got 300 or 400 churches out here. Just open up a credit union. Simple as that. But instead, y'all take your money and take it across Main Street to the other banks, and your members can't borrow $25. See, at my church, I'm Catholic, we have a credit union that serves our people. And that's all they have to do is credit union. Then one of the pastors...
I gotta say, no harm in it. What's the name of your church?
Our Mother Mercy.
Our Mother Mercy?
Catholic Church in Fifth Ward.
Catholic Church. Thank you very much.
And credit union. See, we can do things for ourselves. Now, you got to go back and look at the history. Number one, education was never designed for us. Number two, they didn't teach us about finance.
We used to die for knowing how to read.
Thank you.
Come on now, go back there. I'm a historian.
So all I'm saying is, regardless if they didn't want you to read, they didn't want you to have no education, they did not teach us finance, they did not teach us economics, they didn't teach us anything. And then we have always got the short end of the stick. We got the second-hand everything. I know the little school I went to, the white school color was red and white. So everything that we got was red and white. We didn't have no choice. You know, in the band uniforms, the basketball uniform, all the books were handing me down. Everything was handing me down. Plus, our school colors had to be the same as theirs. So when is it time for us to just realize that we have enough money and enough intelligence? You have all these people with these doctoral, master's, and bachelor's degrees hanging on the wall in discipline that can help us and not doing anything. We should be about, my favorite word is love, L-O-V-E.
That's a powerful word.
I love. Every time I write you, I'm
powerful
I love
word.
You. I love you. And if we can get back like we were doing segregation time, you might not be old enough to remember that, Thibodeau.
No, she's going to come in there.
But
I thank you for the praise. Hey.
But doing segregation time,
right.
Let's take third ward and fifth ward. We didn't have to leave out the community. We had everything we needed. Everything. We did not leave.
And I'm going to come back at you in a way, we want to enlighten the people in our community. This is all good and great and in love. Yes, I do remember those days. I do live through those days. And I got a point, we're saying about the same thing, we're powerful. In my life, my opinion was, up until integration, I thought we had, because African Americans had everything. And whether it was racism that kept us from crossing the street or not, I did not see anyone. I did not experience anybody stealing, thieving, lying, cheating, women selling their bodies. Everywhere I went, I saw black businesses, black people, people doing business with themselves respectfully and making money. Mom and pop stores making money and feeding their communities, taking care of their communities. If a child was short for lunch, they didn't have to worry about where it's coming from. I remember those days of love in our communities that went away because after integration, people want to look at it two ways, but it seemed like that other eyes versus the other eyes, people crossed the freeway, spent all their money and left the other money behind.
Yeah, people, black folk are a pretty interesting group of people. I'm an African American, so I can talk about it. We're pretty.
I can't help that.
We're pretty interesting from this fact. We fought for integration. We went and integrated our dollars. The same people who didn't want us to come in the front door, the same people that forced us to go to the back if they would sell to us at all, now they realize, wait a second, we've been backwards with this. So what we've done as black folk, we went and integrated our money on the other side of town, but we didn't create things to draw money from the opposite side of town into our communities. It's kind of like the trade imbalance between the United States and China. We complain that there's a trade imbalance. America buys more from China than China buys for America. Well, we have that same issue in the black community. We go and shop. We work outside the community. We shop outside the community. And the only money that stays in our community is either when we go to church or when we go to the barber and beauty shop.
Or to the liquor store.
Or to the liquor store. So we haven't created,
the hair store.
We haven't created enough businesses to draw in, not only to hold our own dollars, but to attract dollars in to our community. Give an example. Give a quick example. You mentioned about the hair. Black women spend 8 to 9 times what other women spend on hair care products and services. But yet, if you go into predominantly African American areas, you'll have 3 and 4 beauty supply stores in the same strip center or within the same block, and they're not owned by black folk.
And they're all making money.
Yes, but the interesting thing about this, I had relatives back in the 70s that owned beauty supply stores. Today, the beauty supply industry for black hair care products is controlled by Koreans. I don't have a problem with that, but they're practicing a monopoly, because what they do is their distribution of the products, the majority of African American hair care products are distributed by Korean businesses to the beauty supply stores. So they control the distribution of our products. Now, there are a few companies that have managed to get past that distribution network that was set up and are distributing directly to, let's say, some of the big box stores or some of the other stores, but still the majority of those products are distributed by people who don't look like us, who don't have our best interests, and are practicing predatory capitalism in that they'll tell you, a manufacturer, that, oh, your product is really not selling that well, so we're going to order 20% less this month or this quarter. And then a few months down the road, oh, we're going to order another 20% less because your product's not selling. Now they force you to sell the businesses to them. And now what was traditionally a black product is not only a black-owned product. Well, same thing is happening within the community. Those businesses get our money, and then at the end of the day, they leave, go across town and deposit the money in other banks. The same thing with our churches. I have to get on our churches. Our churches are no different than those businesses that are owned by others in the community. They take your money on Sundays, and then they go outside of the community to deposit it outside of the community. The majority of the pastors do not live in the communities of the churches that they serve. There are a few that I know of that still do, and they love their community and they serve the community. But for the vast majority, they are no different than those businesses that get the money and leave. That's why our communities look like third world countries.
And that's a shame.
Absolutely.
Well, Thibodeau, we bring it on our own. First of all, we don't go vote. And then when you ready to divide the money up, they look over there.
Let's talk about that for a minute. The lack of us voting. How did we get so far away from it when at one time we were known and respected by even the other races for our power of going to the polls?
Mm-hmm.
We were dedicated. My relatives and my friends, when I was coming up, you voted. When voting came around, you voted. I'm living in a generation now, they don't even want to have a voter's card. They don't want to even think about it. Your opinions on what you think, how that gap came about, and what can we do to close that gap? Because voting, whether people, I'm going to say, know it or not, I got so many things coming at me. I remember in South Africa when I saw people crawling to the polls,
mm-hmm.
in wheelchairs going to the poll, mm-hmm. the elderly going to the polls, walking 10, 15 miles going to the polls to vote to try to change the conditions in their lives. And then I look over here in the United States where we have cars, transportation, all these so-called other things, and people can't get to vote. That picture trips me out.
Well, Thibodeau, during the time that we were doing all this, but first of all, we need to know our history. There was a time we couldn't vote. Then I met a lady the other day at TSU, she's 90 years old. She said, I used to write poll tax receipts for them to vote. I mean, we forget about the struggle. But the problem that we have right now is we don't communicate with each other like we do in the segregation. Mm-hmm. The churches was our hub. We Absolutely. Had a big meeting. We went to the Absolutely. Church. We talked about it. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do. Everybody did what they were supposed to do. We don't communicate. And you call the church now to use the church. Pastor tell you, $500. What's
for a community meeting, to have a community forum, a meeting.
It's a hustle.
Yeah,
yes.
But all I'm saying is that until we learn to come together.
You know what? Okay, as you said, so many things keep coming consistent, but we have to what? Rearrange our communication outlets, because the ones that are failing us now, we need to develop some more that will serve us. We know they're failing us. We keep trying because we got this faith in our hearts. We want to try to give them the benefit of the doubt, but they constantly take us.
You know, I've been here a long time in Houston. I've been here when it was segregated. I was here when we didn't have any black elected officials.
At all.
At all. Now, You had one council member named Ben Reyes. Something going on at the city, he called my husband. Of course, get him at the Lionel Smith Library. We're going to have a town hall meeting and tell us what was going on. So we knew what to do. We don't have anybody. Nobody come and have a civic engagement. Nobody come and have a town hall meeting. Nobody come from the city and say, this is what's going on. Nobody come from the county and say what's going on. Nobody come from Congress. If they do, they come and have a toy drive or some bull crap. You know, and then they have really, the politicians have made cheap prostitutes out of the voters. And I'm going to give you a good example. Thanksgiving and Christmas. They come, people are 15 and 20 blocks long to get a turkey. Thibodeau, turkey is the cheapest meat you can buy. You go to HEB, buy one, get one free. Okay, how many days in the year? 365 days, right? They come Christmas and Thanksgiving. That's 2 days. So what do people go eat the other 300 and some days? They make us cheap prostitutes. Mm-hmm. And then you don't have to do anything to the precinct judges. You give them $50, they're selling mama, daddy, brother, and everybody out.
And you know the problem.
The problem is we don't realize how much power we have. And if you don't believe it, just get Milan Son's African American News a couple of months ago. He broke it all down for you. How much money we spent, what we spent on alcohol, what we spent on the church. He broke it down. I made plenty of copies so I can distribute them so that y'all can see. But our problem, we don't read. How you going to find out something if you don't read?
Well, you know, that's an old one, too. You know, if you want to hide something from a black man, you put it in a book. Mm-hmm. But they didn't say that for nothing. These things was real. I'm repeating, and you may hear are results of the things we're looking at today. Problems that present themselves in the society that we're living in. And we still haven't gotten above those ignorant things.
Another thing, too, Thibodeau.
Okay, self-worth. I feel like there's a lack of self-love and worth in black folk.
Absolutely.
They just don't think nothing about themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's when I get people get upset with me for mentioning it. I put it back to how we were given images that were not like us through the media when we were growing up. Okay. Images control everything. Images speak louder than words. But it gets reinforced. We have a lot of so-called, I call them so-called reality TV shows. And most of those are focused toward women because they know women are, number one, they're very influential. Number two, whenever you go into any store, a majority of the square footage of a store is dedicated to women's products. Okay, clothing, whatever, perfume and all that. All these so-called reality TV shows that are targeted toward women all have beautiful black women, but they are not wearing their natural hair, which says a whole lot about identity issues. I love black women. I married a black woman. I have a black woman as a mother, grandparents. But the issue about self-love is that men, we a lot of us are just as guilty. You know, we want that certain look or whatever, what was forbidden. We're chasing after that. We're still screwed up also. I'm not putting it on one group of people. But that's the issue. We don't control the imaging and the positive imaging out there that's in the media, that's in the mass area. We allow other people to dictate standards of beauty. That's why whenever I see a black woman wearing a natural hairstyle, I don't care if it's braids to a nappy fro like she just got up out the bed. I always compliment on her and say, sister, you are beautiful. Thank you for being natural and organic.
That helps. That helps. Because all that inspiration, we need inspiration at all levels. And if we get any of it, it's all contributing to our betterment. And that's why I cut nothing short when it comes to inspiring our people. Some people say, why you say that? Because they need to hear something else besides something negative.
Yes.
You know, my thing is this. I was taught by my parents, by my dad, forget shaking hands. Hug a person. Ooh. Ooh. People go all a week without a hug and tell them you love them. Yeah. And then find something you can compliment them and uplift them. Yeah. And that's my thing. And you have to lead by example. I hug everybody. I tell them, don't shake my hand. I want to give you some love. And I love you. And until we can start doing that, I just don't, like I'm saying before, I've been black all my life, but I'm like Jesus. When they asked Jesus what he thought about black folks doing that, he said, I don't know. When you get the answer, let me know. That he made us. But I don't know what it's going to do to bring us together. For example, Jerome and I just come from a screening. I'm running for city council at large, position 1, and he's running for District D. Now, mind you, Thibodeau, in 2015, I ran for the same position. Got 81,705 votes. No way I was supposed to lose this. But here we come from an organization that's an all-black organization. All the questions that they ask you was related to blacks. What would you do for blacks? Da-da-da-da-da. But they endorse a non-black.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we just throw it off.
Without a track record, without a track record of dealing with a black constituency. I understand that it's larger than just a black. Houston is larger, but just the idea of an organization will endorse someone who doesn't even have a relationship in the community that an organization works in. And I can understand, but we're talking about an organization and a people in an organization that will always ask for the services and help of Miss P for any of their other projects. So it's interesting. It's very, very interesting.
Okay. I'm not going to... Okay. Yeah, it is more than interesting. I agree with what you're saying right there. But I'm coming from a perspective right now with no holds barred to the point of... There's a thing about that involved, again, with that self-hate and lack of self-worth, which brings in the subject of abuse. People like being lied to. If you look good lying to them, they will accept you. If you come with a $5,000 suit with an entourage, they don't care if you... They like to hear you lie. And they will get up in your face and do all of those things. And there's something about that used to intrigue me. But as I read the Bible and continued to speak, even Jesus in his own walk and yoke, it's something about the mankind and man's heart. He's just a fool like that. They like you to lie to them. You tell them the truth, they'll look at you and won't give you no respect. Even though they benefit from your help. The truth benefits them, but they will not give you the credit. They'll hear what you say, Mr. Provost, do what you say, but won't look around and contribute towards your benefit at all.
You know, it's just
and that is...
You know, Thibodeau, I'm serious.
You ever heard of the Norway syndrome? You heard about that? You heard about that?
Stockholm.
Thank God, we good here.
Stockholm syndrome, yes.
Where the person who kidnaps you and abuses you and everything else, there comes a point in your mind and mentality and lack of spirituality, you come to give them more respect than anybody else.
Yeah, you identify with their cause rather than your own.
Wow. And that's real. That's not a fantasy. Because I feel like our whole race is caught up in that.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, somebody sent me a link the other day saying that all black athletes should start going to HBCUs and stop giving their talent and stuff to the white schools. Now, we already know that TSU is the only HBCU in town. We just celebrated 92 years. The support that we need at the university, we don't get it. 95% of my kids on financial aid. My students at Texas Southern University don't drop out of school because they can't pass the test. They drop out of school because they don't have the Lijon, the money.
Right.
And we got all of these graduates that have finished, over 55,000 of them. Just give $2 a day or $10 a month to help these students. This is our next future. This is our later. We got some students at TSU that's dynamite. Give an example. A few years ago, we had a young man that went to jail, was in the penitentiary for 20 American years. Came out, enrolled in the School of Communication, valedictorian of the class.
He just needed an opportunity.
20 years.
He just needed a chance.
That's it.
Valedictorian. These are the kind
Just needed a chance.
These are the kind of students that we have at Texas Southern University. And all I'm asking my community to do is don't ask us what we need, just write a check. If you ain't got time to mail it and put a 55-cent stamp, call me, I come pick it up.
And you know why I'm sitting here and look at you like this and I'll share with our audience? She has not changed. I've been seeing her do this. I've been in the industry myself as a journalist and a person on radio and newspaper. And Sister Provost has been very consistent in her desires to love and help her community. That's why she's here. That's why we're listening to her, and we're here for her to just tell us all that she can.
You know, Thibodeau, you know, we can talk till we blue. But, but until we sit down and start, like I tell most of those politicians.
But you know, I've been saying you do this 30, 40, 50 years. We're not trying. We just didn't come out here today.
I've been supporting my university for 60 years.
That's hello.
We've
hello?
had 12
That's the
presidents.
point I'm
I've been
making.
there for 11 of the presidents.
And I've seen you do it.
You know, I just tell my people, you got a pencil and you got a piece of paper, like that man just gave us a sheet of paper. Just write down 5 things that the politicians have done to enhance the area that they represent.
They can't do it.
Can't. Most of our communities look like a third world country. So why you keep voting for the same person?
Because they like the way they lie to them.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and that one turkey a year.
I was reading from, and it's from on a national level. It's a political organizer and campaign advisor on a national level. She was saying that the biggest issue that they see with an incumbent getting reelected or even a new candidate running for office is that when dealing with the public in general, the public, for the most part, really isn't interested in the issues. They're not concerned really with the issues. When it boils, now they'll come in with issues and asking questions, but when it boils down to it, at the end of the night or the end of the day during that forum or whatever the event was, they're more interested in being entertained than they are of getting actual information that's actionable information. It's okay, he presented well, he spoke well, but this candidate had and showed you an actual plan. The other person spoke well and spoke in generalities rather than in specifics. And they don't really find out, okay, who is an institutional person, who is part of the system, who's not part of the system. And almost always, it's the person who's already part of the system that gets elected. And then they wonder why they have nothing has changed, because they keep putting the same person just in a different face in office each time.
And it remains the same.
You know, that's why I tell them, Thibodeau, my son and I are true public servants.
Yes.
We are not aspiring to be a politician. We're in business. We work every day. Now, let me tell you about a politician. Politicians got 3 things. The first thing is how much money they can get, how many votes they can get, and what is the next position they're going to run to. Now, if you pay attention to this election that's going on now, look at the people that's jumping from one position they had to the other position. They're career politicians. And in those 3 things, we as citizens is not even included in that equation. And why we don't wake up?
Because we like to lie.
Yeah, absolutely. And people are asking, well, why nothing changes? I said, the one who pays the piper picks the tune. We know that. The issue, I remember, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson basically said the reason why, and he's speaking of black people in particular, but I'll speak also in the average citizen. The reason why you don't get anything is because we don't own, lease, or rent.
Own, lease, or rent.
Any politicians as citizens. The corporations are the ones, or the special interests backed with money, are the ones who own, lease, or rent the politicians, and that's where the priorities are. And somebody said, well, what if a big donor gave you some money? What does that get him? I say a priority phone call. Nothing else. A priority, I return that person's phone call first, but that doesn't guarantee a vote or a decision in their manner. And I'm not even seeking money from the major donors. That's not even a priority. It's more about what can I do for the citizen. The citizen's needs supersede the corporate needs and corporate interests in Houston. You know, how can I go and ask a corporation for help and partnership in the community when they say, oh, I already gave you money in your campaign? No, I didn't take any money from you. Let you be a good corporate citizen and come in and partner with this particular organization, partner with this university, partner with this civic club or this social organization, nonprofit in the community. Be a good corporate citizen and take that money. You're going to give us $100,000 or $200,000 to the organization, and you're going to go and spend $2 million to promote the fact that you gave us $200,000. I'm going to let you do that, but give us something. So you can be a good corporate citizen within District D or within 3rd Ward or South Park or Sunnyside. Help rebuild the parks. All of our parks are dilapidated. So be a good corporate citizen, give some money. Nobody's going to go to, not many people in those regions go to the symphony, so they don't know about your sponsorship of the symphony or the ballet or whatever arts program.
I'm going to take a break, y'all. You're listening to 90.1 KPFT, 90.1 KPFT. As the peace of God, I believe in each and every one of us human beings on this planet. I'm going to say that right now. And if we came to believe and understand that this thing could turn around just like that, because it is that way. But the consciousness has to be there for it to turn around like that. We're bringing forth such information today to help you and assist you in gaining the knowledge that it would take for you to make a change in your life, your children's life, your family's life, the way you don't have to struggle and go through the things that you're going through, y'all. You really don't. It's not laid down in stone that you got to suffer and go through and do without. It is there, but you got to have the faith and the love and the belief in God in your heart to bring about that change.
You know, Thibodeau, I get to thinking about some of the things that we've done as provost and the things that I've done. I'm giving an example. I'm a leader with TMO, the Metropolitan Organization. And I'm sure you remember when Governor Rick Perry had a committee going around all over Texas where they wanted to increase the sales tax. So I called the chairman and asked him would they come and do a hearing at Texas Southern University. He said, oh, yes, Ms. Provost, we'll come. They came and we had hundreds and hundreds of people. We defeated the increase and the tax, sales tax. So it's still 8.25.
Correct.
I mean, you just got to do some things. And we were looking at Prairie View and TSU wasn't getting no OCR money. So I go to talk to the Governor Bush because I go by myself.
You have never been, I got to tell you this too. Ooh, I've been holding this years and years and years, y'all. Y'all in the middle of everything. But here we go. I've never seen you not do what you're talking about. And I mean, I'm saying that again like that to the people and to you because time has passed. And I'm not talking about people come by night, fly by night, all of that. I feel good about saying that I can sit here and say, I have experienced you doing that. I remember that when everybody else was just on the side tripping and thinking about nothing. I'll say that. I'm not afraid to say that.
See, Thibodeau, we try to get Governor Bush to give us some OCR money. That's Office of Civil Rights money. So I met with all the governors. The best governor we've had since Reconstruction was Governor Clemens, Bill Clemens. Because when I went to meet with him, they were talking about closing my school of immersion. So I went in and the lady said, oh, I don't see what you had in the permit. But Governor Clemens came out of his office. He said, Ms. Provost, what you doing here? So I told him what I was doing there. He said, you wasting your time. As long as I'm governor, TSU remain independent. So I asked him to do a press conference, and he did. So then I had to go see Bush about OCR money. So he said, well, why you want to fight for money for Prairie View? A&M going to take care of Prairie View. I said, like the slave master take care of the slaves.
Wow.
So I couldn't get anything done. So there's an attorney who was in Mississippi named Alvin O. Shamlis, who sued the state of Mississippi for the black colleges. He had gone to the Supreme Court and won 3 times. I called him on the phone. I said, attorney, come on down here. Because I'm fixing to sue. I sued Governor Bush and the state of Texas. We went to Austin for the court. We won $100 million for each one of them schools. I didn't come back and put it in the Chronicle because when I get upstairs, I want the man to say, come on in. You got to be up there to fight for something. And all this hooping and hollering and marching, people don't care about you marching no more. The best way that you can get people's attention, keep your money in your pocket. You talking about you got a food desert here? Nobody want to come build no food desert. Nobody want to do your education. Well, you start spending money with them.
And I'm hearing a whole lot about that food desert that you just said.
You got.
We don't have a major market in our community.
Well, first of all, you got two of them.
2?
They don't come put that, but you'll drive 50 miles to go get them. The only people we have in our community is HEB. HEB not only give us good service, they're in our community to help and promote.
And employ.
And that's why I go to the one on Scott Street, because they employ my students.
Correct.
They say, hey, Miss P, you remember me? I go to TSU. I go to Yates. Make me feel good. HEB is the only one, so why you not promoting HEB? You ought to be buying your gas over there, everything. but you drive 25 miles to go give them other folks your money. And the only way marching ain't gonna do it, you just keep, let's just say we're gonna say the whole month of October, we're not gonna spend no money with nobody that don't look like us. You get their attention. And then I've called the NAACP.
And you know why I'm saying that? Because it does.
I called the NAACP in 1973, Thibodeau, you was young, but you helped us. We
Yes,
had a
thank
thing
you.
say black business. Remember them yellow
Yes,
buttons
I
we
do.
had? We're
I
going
do.
around for black business, support black business. We need to have that now. Black business are hurting. The county not giving us no business. The city not giving us no business. And you know, doggone well, we ain't getting no business from the state. And HISD ain't giving us nothing. But all they want to do is close your school and suspend my students. We got to be able to take care of what we need to take care of. And right now on the table, we ought to be talking about education, economics. We got a problem right now with our own. Our kids are not learning. They send teachers in my schools to teach my black and brown kids. They don't know the culture, the history, or nothing about my kids. They don't even know about the environment that they come out of. So how can you teach my kids? But you can suspend them.
And take advantage of them.
Thank you.
Hello?
Thibodeau, we got some work to do. And you got
It's
all
too
these
much.
people running,
It's not too
want to
much.
run for this and run for that. You didn't do a good job when you were there in the first place. But when you just come from, you're just career politician. And all of this work and all this promotion and all this publicity that you're doing, it ain't going to help none. Because you put the same people in there, it's like an oxymoron. You keep doing the same thing over and over. And you all keep
Hold up. Inspecting the what results, and that means what?
oxymoron.
No, it's insanity.
There you go.
Now, Thibodeau, think real hard. There's nobody in America speaking up for black people.
Nobody.
You got 3 men that's speaking up for black people. Minister Farrakhan, Claude Anderson, and Attorney Evelyn O'Shamlis. All these politicians, I don't see them saying about nothing about us. We're not even on their agenda. We are not on the agenda. Just pay attention. It's just like we don't even exist. And the folks that should be speaking up for us, we don't.
I gotta add. I gotta compliment what you're saying. Ooh, I can't let it pass. Hold up. We made a difference in Alabama. We are still there. When blacks have a powerful vote, when we come together, we do make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can't tell you about the coming together, but when we come together, we do make a difference. Alabama did that, for instance. They're coming to Wisconsin. When we do come together, we make a difference.
Yes, but we come together, and it's great when we do come together. But in the course of the daily life, or even just the political cycle, there are so many forces that are there to break us apart.
That's correct. There are forces.
There's so many forces that are there to break us apart, and it's money going toward different organizations, money going toward buying influence and endorsements from certain so-called community leaders. I mean, it's a shame the way we behave. We're chasing after crumbs when we can we can own the whole damn pie.
Right.
We're chasing after crumbs. And what gets me is people don't understand this dynamic. When a person immigrates to another country, they tend to do better than they did in the previous country that they were in, because they come in with a different mindset. They see opportunity, but at the same time, they know that they have to learn and adapt to that environment. Here, we've grown complacent. We complain, but we don't act. We say, oh, nothing's going to change. No, it's not going to change, because you thought that all you had to do was just vote. Vote is only part of the equation. If you vote for me, you need to hold me accountable. If I'm giving money to this organization, I need to be involved and hold that organization, especially if it's a nonprofit, to hold that organization accountable to do what they're supposed to do with the money that I contribute. If you send me to represent you, whatever office, as a candidate, then you're supposed to hold that person. Don't keep telling, I voted for you. Great, I appreciate that. That got me there. But unless there's a constant relationship, hey, I'm watching you. I sent you there to do what I'm supposed to, what I sent you there to do for. No, son, I didn't send you there to go do your thing. I sent you there to do my thing. But as black folk, we don't do that, because we see our elected officials as celebrities. We're happy when they show up at our funeral. We're happy when they show up at our birthday party. We're happy when they show up at pastor's anniversary. They're not a celebrity. You don't treat the maid that way at the hotel. You don't treat the waiter that way at the restaurant. What's the difference? You pay both of them, or all three of them. So why are you treating the city council member? Why are you treating the state representative? Why are you treating the county commissioner? Why are you treating your congressman as a celebrity when that person is a public servant on your dollar?
And how do we get so far away from that? How do we get so far away from that when we're the ones controlling the vote?
Exactly.
Supposed to be.
Exactly.
And I vote for you because I want to. But
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to deny me when you get it.
Mm-hmm.
See, our problem, Thibodeau.
But we don't follow up. I voted, but I'm not going to follow up with that candidate. And then you let that.
If you don't do what you're supposed to do the first time, I shouldn't vote for you the second time.
Exactly. But you remember, I came to your funeral. I mean, your family member's funeral. That's more important than me voting to make sure your neighborhood's better. That I came to your birthday party.
How can you represent me when you don't communicate with me? That's a problem. You know, and the reason I'm gonna continue till I win. I'm concerned about Houstonians. I'm concerned about my brothers and sisters in Kingwood that flooded, that never flooded before. I'm concerned about my brothers and sisters in Settigas, Pleasantville.
Absolutely.
Oak Forest. I'm considering all of them.
Absolutely.
All of them. Because the same person that made you and I made them. And the common sense about it, if I cut myself and a white person cut himself, an Indian cut himself, you're going to all bleed red. So that let you know we brothers and sisters. We need to start acting like that.
Absolutely.
You touched upon that flooding and the Kingwood thing. How bad is it when here's a cold word, representatives you can talk to for months ahead of time? They will allow a developer to come into that area and depreciate their property because they have so much money involved.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do that, as you're flooding, they're making money and not giving a hoot. And I see that so brutal because what you're talking about in Kingwood, to ones who never voted before, I'm not hating on nobody. They have the right because they're paying a lot of money out there to stay out there and be protected.
Mm-hmm.
But being betrayed
Thank you.
by the same people.
Same way.
Exactly.
Now, if you were that city council person and even at large, if you was concerned about those brothers and sisters in there, you would have checked the developer out first.
That's right.
To make sure he wasn't fixing to put all this concrete. And people been out there 26 and 27 years, never flooded before.
Yeah.
And see, we got to be about making them pay attention. I'll give you an example, Thibodeau. All these storm drains they got in our community. I've only seen them one time. I've been on my place since 1971. They've only been out the city only one time where they swept the streets and cleaned the drain. You know why they cleaned them? When Barbara Jordan funeral, because it was right down the street. Clinton and all of them was coming, so they wanted everything to be clean. That's the only time they've been out there.
I thought about that. Cleaning the drains in particular. Yes, that passed by my mind at the same time because those are things that can be done as a part of that so-called system for be looking out for your community through your representative to where you wouldn't have to go through that.
Right.
It's that simple, but it's not being done.
Regular maintenance, scheduled maintenance.
Did it say regular maintenance?
Yeah, scheduled maintenance.
Scheduled maintenance?
Yeah, not just because something popped up, you smack it. No, it's regular scheduled maintenance. Yes.
Now, we've been on McGregor. Now, you go down past, just before you get to 288, that same big puddle of water been there since 1971. When you and I went past through that Thibodeau 20 years ago, it was the same puddle of water.
And I wondered then, how did the engineer keep his job? How did he get paid for that mess that he made over there?
Samson and North McGregor.
And I'm glad that you said this. We have some of the best black engineers in Texas, in Houston. Why don't you consult them about these drainage? These people know what they're talking about, but nobody calls them.
They used to say there was a sentence that covered that. It's too much like right. It's too much like right.
Yes.
That would be right there.
Yeah.
They're right there, right? Who's involved? Right there. To their engineers who have the knowledge. Hello.
And we got some black engineers that run a ring around the rosy with those city engineers and the county engineers. But they won't call them in.
No, at that point, I'm going to take it to another level. Because then it's about corruption and their selfish, racist attitudes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, see, here's the deal. Just like with medicine, the profit is not in the cure. The profit is in the treatment. So as long as there are these major problems that keep popping up, then the powers that be have an opportunity to throw a lot of money around.
In this capitalistic state.
Yes. So instead of people are not paying attention. So much of city services they're trying to privatize. They're trying to take jobs and services from the city and privatize it out. That's not the solution. The solution is improve the city services, improve the products and the equipment that are there with the people that are employed to do the job. Stop privatizing it and getting the kickback on the privatization of it. You name the area in city services, they're trying to privatize it. So what's going to happen? You're going to have a bigger segregation because they're going to say, well, you know what? I'm going to focus only on the parts of the city that yell the loudest, which is going to be the ones who throw more money around. River Oaks, the Meyerland area, Tanglewood, Garden Oaks. Those are going to be the places that get served first, or even a faster service. So the city needs to do the city's job, not hire private people to do the city's job.
Due diligence.
Absolutely.
Due diligence. And that's why we have you here today, to express that, to let the people know that there are alternatives, everybody out there. Everybody's not trying to abuse you.
That's basically what we're looking at. You know, the people need to come first. The city is a services organization. The city and the government is a services organization. That's their mission, is to serve. Their mission is nothing beyond serving, protecting. And protecting is service.
You know,
when we talk about TSU, when we talk about mines and benefits, as far as being a historically black institute, I hate, I'm going to say it because I cannot start without ending the sentence. When Trump, first thing he did was cut the money to historically black institutions. And I thought that was a crime and a criminal and even evil. So that's why, again, your voice is to help people get acknowledged and deserve.
That ain't the only thing he did. We have a lot of foreign students that come to TSU. They pay big money. He keep sending them back. So that mess up our enrollment, that mess up our funds, that mess up our budget.
He's not granting visas from a lot of areas where these students are coming
from TSU.
And so that's penalizing the collegiate system.
We got the best schools in the world, best pharmacy, best school of business, best school of education, best law school. These people come from overseas to come to our schools, and they have been cut out because Trump won't let them come. So you messing with my dollars at TSU.
They're not granting the visas.
They're not granting the visas.
Wow.
And you don't hear nobody saying nothing about it. No, nobody's crying about it.
It's the first time I've heard it.
Nobody's saying anything. This is quiet. We all sitting like we're in neutral. Everything going fine. We got some problems, serious problems. And I just want you all just to stop one day and just go over to the university. It's the most beautiful campus you ever want to see. We got the best president. He's young with a beautiful first lady. We just got a new set of board members. Everybody is doing things over there. All we need is Texas. I don't need y'all to call me and tell me what's going on. Because my thing is this. You don't write no check that say Texas University, then you can't talk to me. I'm going to give you an example. I went for a screening the other day. And the man said, well, Miss Provost, somebody might come when you're on city council, give you an envelope full of money. What would you do with it? I said, I would give it to my aide. He said, you're not going to count it? I said, no. I give it to my aide and tell her to take it to Unity National Bank. That's the black bank that's on Live Oak and Blodgett. I said, now you white folks don't know nothing about Unity, and y'all need to start support. Even if you got to put your child's lines there, bring some money so we can have a good black bank. And then I'm telling them when they get there, get a cashier's check, make it to Texas Southern University, in the memo, put scholarships. And he looking at me with his mouth down. I said, close your mouth. We need to be about helping folks that we need to help.
Tell them what they need to do.
Well, first of all, I had a thing called Do the Math. Just $10 a month.
Point blank.
Just $10 a month.
$10 a month.
To Texas Southern University.
Texas Southern University.
$10 a month. Texas Southern University.
And you can designate whatever. You want to go to school of business, you want to go to pharmacy, you want to go to the football team, you want to go to basketball. Just put it in the memo. 3100 Cleburne. Put my name on it. Georgia Provost. They're going to put it in the box. Here, Provost. And I'm going to take it over to CFO.
Say that again. Say that one more time right now. What do they need to do, what they need to do, and where they need to send it?
They can send it to Office of Advancement.
Office of Advancement.
Texas Southern University. You don't have to read it a whole lot. Just read TSU Office of Advancement. 3100 Cleburne Street. The zip code is 77004. If you got any problems, you can call me. I'm not a perfect person. My cell number is 281-704-6655.
And in the memo, write CAP. C-A-P.
Brother Jerome, give us some words.
Get involved, get engaged, be financially responsible.
Get involved, get engaged, be financially responsible.
Absolutely. And financial responsibility doesn't mean justify a new purchase of some sneakers or shoes or a purse. You know, I get tired of seeing people running around with super expensive purses, wallets, tennis shoes, whatever, and then they're asking for help for a cell phone bill. You know, you have a $1,000 Louis Vuitton bag or what's this other French company everybody's crazy about right now with a $1,000 bag, and you're asking for help for your cell phone.
Oh, $500 with a hair on your head.
Yeah, you know, for help for a cell phone bill. You know, or you don't have $50. You know, you need help with gas. No, be financially responsible. You know, who are you trying to impress with a $1,000 bag or some $500 sneakers or $300 sneakers? You know, that's financially irresponsible. That's insanity.
We thank y'all.
We thank you.
Much.
We love you, Timothy.
Thank
you so much. You got to have us back on again. We just love you, man.
You know, for sure.
Because you've been out here a long time fighting, trying
doing
to
God's job.
Thank you.
There
we
you
love
go.
you for that.
There you go. Absolutely.